How is everyone this evening?
It's showtime.
Showtime. Let's see. Grandpa Rails, John Dilly, you get the cookie tonight. How about that? And then we got Dave BNSF, Floyd Robbins, John at Schuylkill River. And that's it.
That's
That's
it.
it.
Fort
That's
Pitt.
That's it.
Fort Pitt.
5 people's in here.
Yeah,
Nobody wants to talk about car weathering.
I wouldn't have gave him the hint.
Oh, there's Andy. How's it going, Andy?
Hey, Andy. I'd have told him, if you're going to give him a hint, tell him you're going to see paint or glue dry tonight.
Oh, no.
Steve Anderson would make his way in.
One of my things fell off.
Oh, no. That's what you did to mine. You're a regular destructo.
I know I am. I like destroying things.
There's Rusty from Possum Bayou.
Hey, Rusty. There's
And
Joe Rader.
Joe!
Joe Rader.
Joe, I like that there chassis engine you just got. That's sweet. I guess you had Jason fix it up with a decoder. Sounds awesome.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yep. There's Gerald Stewart. Good evening.
Gerald. How's it going, Gerald?
Rail Artist is out there.
Rail Artist, how you doing?
Yep.
I'm sorry, I got involved in something all of a sudden that I wasn't planning on getting involved in.
Naomi's in here and she said, Robert! I got her trained well.
Naomi!
Cheyenne and Sage are watching.
Hey, Cheyenne and Sage, how are y'all?
There's Dan's Grand Valley.
Hey, Dan. Yeah, it's just, I got this. I laid this down and the coupler cut lever fell out of it. All of a sudden. It's just one of those days.
I understand. It don't help that your AC ain't working out in the trench.
No, it doesn't help. That doesn't help at all.
You start to see the wet spots under Robert's armpits, you'll understand. Yeah. You'll almost be able to smell it through the screen. Smell-o-vision.
Smell-o-vision. Oh, man. This is just...
Grandpa Rails wants to know, what kind of weathering? Paint, powder, or India ink?
Just a second.
Just a second. Nothing like being under pressure.
Every time.
Yep.
Forget it. I'll do it later. They don't put these details on real good at the factory, and you just touch them, and the slightest thing is they just fall off, you know. And it's really, really annoying.
Floyd says he's guessing an airbrush is going to be involved.
Yep.
What? No, it gave it away.
Maybe the compressor sitting here. Huh?
That might have something to do with it. Rusty says you're using sweaty funk for weathering.
That's right. That's the thinner. Yeah, I don't know what they use for glue at the factories, but you don't. These little tiny parts fall off all the time.
There's Ray Bertelstein. How you
Hey,
doing,
Ray Bertelstein.
Ray?
There's Dwight Curley.
Yeah, Dwight. The Flying Wilmer. That's a scary thought.
That is.
Rusty said it's almost too hot to be out in that shed with no AC.
Yeah, it is.
But Robert, he's a team player, buddy.
Oh no. Yeah, it's it is warm out here.
It's warm here. Like I said, outside today, it's if it didn't already hit 90, it's really close.
Yeah, it's 89 here right now, John. But it was 90 today. 90 was the high. So.
And now, isn't that something? Way up here, up north, we're just as hot.
Yep. Oh well. Now I'm going to glue this on, and hopefully I'm done.
And Floyd says Iowa's getting some bad weather. I hope Iowa just keeps it. They're getting hammered.
Hammered.
Joe says it's 78 there where he lives.
Wow,
It's
Joe.
in the mid 80s.
I envy you. Oh, Andy.
57.
Don't say that.
57. Where you at, Andy?
He's in East Anglia, I think, or
East what?
Anglia,
Anglia.
Cambridge area, right, Andy?
Oh, he's over the ocean there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gerald said it's 95. Where you at, Gerald? Gerald Stewart.
South Midland. Okay.
95. It's too early for that. It ain't even Memorial Day yet.
So it's good to see everybody in here. There's 12 of us, 12 dedicated people.
Yep.
Yeah, actually, John, Gerald's down in Austin. Okay. I've already picked 6 cucumbers, and then I've got a bunch of tomatoes and squash and okra coming in. So
I didn't think anybody ate okra.
I'm from Louisiana.
I'm just saying, I didn't think anybody ate that stuff.
Oh, Andy says it's raining too. 12 people with nothing to do tonight. Oh man.
That's how it worked out. It's that time of the year. Summertime, it's sometimes sparse to get people to even show up.
Yeah, it is, Joe. Well, good. Well, then, well, hopefully people will want to learn how to do weathering. Uh, but most of the people on here probably already know how to do weathering. So,
Well, the thing is, knowing how to do weathering well is the key.
so
I'm not one of them.
oh, that ain't true. So it's good to see everybody in here. I don't think we have any real announcements right now, do we?
No, no, not that I can think of. You know,
All the
I got a new razor, if that's an announcement.
you got a new razor. Why didn't you trim
Oh,
your
yeah.
beard off then?
Huh? Oh,
You
this
should have
ain't coming off. This ain't coming off.
Oh man. It's I was just going to do a little bit of weathering tonight on 3 of the cars I got while I was out in my travels. So
Only
what I
three?
would, only 3 tonight. Because I figured that'd be all we'd have time for. So I wanted to do these because I wanted to show light weathering rather than medium or heavy weathering. Because on so deciding how heavy you want to go on the weathering is up to you. But I do it because my layout's based in 76. I kind of look at what year the car was built, and that's how I kind of determine how heavy I want to go on the weathering. So,
I guess Dave BNS popped it back in.
hey Dave, how are you?
We
Was
have
he here? I thought he was here. Dan's
Yeah.
model railroading journey is here.
Yep. Yeah, we said hi to him earlier.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's probably when I was fooling with that stupid cut lever.
Yeah.
And I wasn't paying attention. I was saying things and not paying attention. Yeah.
Okay.
So I am going to weather 3 cars tonight. 3 boxcars.
Can I ask you a question already?
You're sure?
Or do you have a prototypical picture to go by?
I do have some pictures. I don't really have any dated though.
Oh, yeah. You won't want to put dirt that was past your date.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, like I said, since my layout is 1976, I'm gonna angle my camera
You
down.
won't want to put 1977 dirt on it.
Yeah, that's right. These 2 were built in 75, and this one doesn't have a build date on it really. So, but since it's a Department of Defense car, I'm going to say they kept it clean. So, what I'm going to do is just because these are just a few months away from my era, I don't want to over weather them. And you on your layouts, like I said, you decide how you want to weather.
Yeah.
Which one's heavy, which one's light weathering, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we wouldn't want no premature rust on there.
That's right. No premature rust. So what I'm going to do tonight, I'm going to use a combination of, well, right now I only have one weathering pencil. It's the only color I really needed. I'm going to use some weathering powders, and I'm going to use the airbrush. So, yeah, that's right, we did. I want to use that because weather is happens to cars differently as well. So you want to use different techniques. There's also dry brushing. There's um, oh, see, my mind's gone already. You can use
I got a secret for you. Your mind was going a long time
yeah,
ago.
I know. You can use washes and stains, that kind of stuff. Um, you can even use the little uh, panel line accent colors. What I like doing with this is using them. Um, I'm going to use this, and now this is a dark brown. I try to avoid black when I can because there's nothing that's pure black in nature. So
Is that like um a wash?
these accent colors, I think, are lacquers, if I'm not mistaken. They're from Tamiya.
Yeah. Well, I'm
Uh,
asking you, is that like a wash?
yes, and it's similar.
You
It
use
comes
it
with
like a wash?
this little thin brush on the end.
Okay.
And so what you do, and I'll just do one real quick. What it does is, if you can see this, I'm going to try to hold it up. If you touch it here, you'll notice that it flows into the.
Oh, that's
See
pretty
how,
cool.
yeah, see how it flows down,
Yeah.
and that's what I like to do with this. And so that just gives a little accent to everything. And if you could see, I hope.
Now, can I ask another question?
Sure.
Because I'm just curious here. Um, do you did you spray that with a adult coat uh, on the?
I have done nothing to it yet.
So that's straight out of the box.
Yep, straight out of the box.
Okay.
The only thing I did to this, and you want to do this before you start weathering, is I put the ACI label on it. For some reason, it didn't come with one. I don't know why.
Rail artist said when he weathers with pastels, he likes to use an Arbitz fixable for pastels on bare plastic cars. Gives a bit of a tooth for the pastels to adhere to.
That's a good idea.
What is Arbitz? It says an Arbitz fixable.
Artist, fix it.
Artists. Oh, it says
Yeah,
art kits.
yeah. I think he left the S out. It was just a
Yeah.
typo. Yeah, you want to use something like that. I don't on this for one reason, because I am going to use some weathering powders. They're really pastels.
Yeah. And there's
I don't want them to really stick well because I'm trying to lightly weather these cars.
Crooked Dave's in the house.
Crooked Dave. So I like touching these just lightly, and you can see how it just flows down. Hopefully, but it gives some highlights to the ribs.
There's Split Rock.
Now, hey Tom, how are you doing? Uh, Now, another thing I would do if I was weathering a little bit heavier, if these were older cars, I would fade them first. But I don't really want to fade these.
So what you're telling me is they got a build date not far from 1976.
Right. These were built in 12 of 75.
Oh,
So trying to angle these into the camera so you can see what's going on with this accent, this panel line accent. And it's subtle, but that's okay. I don't want it to be too heavy. You can see down at the bottom, I think.
Yeah,
See how it kind of pools at the bottom?
yeah, I see that.
So that kind of mimics rain and dirt washing down the side of the car.
Well, it works its the whole way down too, don't it?
It do.
That's pretty cool. I asked that question already, Thomas, and he says he doesn't do it.
What's that?
I asked if you used a clear coat before weathering.
Yeah. I do sometimes, but this time I'm not.
Joe says he likes to use a dull coat first.
Like I said, I do sometimes, but because this is a fairly new car, I'm just lightly weathering it. I don't want to do that. And this is just that's just another technique, you know. So you can see, let's see, I missed one spot here. I think. There we go. And I think I'm going to put some underneath it, underneath the door. That's sure going to get grimy.
Joe says the pasties stick good to the dull coat. I think he meant pastel.
Pastels, yeah.
It says pasties. I had to bring that up.
I think he meant pastels. All right, so
Dave says you use dull coat for powders and acrylics and gloss for oils before he weathers.
and I do, like I said, I do that sometimes. I just don't. I'm just not doing it this particular time.
Now, will you use that on the roof too?
No.
No? So the dirt and the rain don't get on the roof then, huh?
Oh yeah, I do. That's not how I'm going to replicate it on the roof.
There's Deep Run Railroad Mike.
Hey Mike, how are you? What I'm trying to do is on the end, get it into the cracks on the end, if you can see.
Yep. That does, it is subtle, but like you said, it does bring it out.
Yeah. And this is, like I said, this is dark brown. It is not black. I don't.
Black here.
I try not to use black if at all possible. I'll try to hold my camera up. Whoops. Got it on my hand. All right. Now do the other side real quick. And if you want it to run down, it's better to leave the car standing up. So I'm gonna do that.
Not good when your hand's shaky, hey?
No, it's not. And mine tends to get shaky when I do detail work like this. So I have to steady it.
Well, you got a little heavy there with that one.
Yep, but that's okay. You want a little variation. Doesn't hurt. Because that's what happens in reality. If you think about it. And this stuff, once it dries, it's not going to look as dark as it does.
Yeah, that's the way the wash works too. You know, you put it on it. Once it dries, it ain't nearly as pronounced. Yeah, that's pretty cool. You can watching how it runs down there like that.
Yeah. And to me, it makes several colors of this panel line accent. They make a dark and a light gray, a dark brown and a light brown, and they make a black. And that's all I've seen. There might be some more.
So, Grandpa Rel says, do you need to do layers to make it darker?
You could. Just do on top here on the other side because I forgot to do that. Because you want dirt flowing into any crack. Because that's where the dirt's going to pool. Here we go. So the good thing about this stuff is it pools where rain and dirt would pool. You know, that's how it works. You know, it just like rain flowing down the side of the car. You know, would wash dirt down, and that's exactly what this does. I think I'm just gonna not do this one.
Yeah, I like the way I did that.
Now this one I'm going to do a little something different. box cars with rivet lines, that's where the paint's thinner and it tends to rust initially. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this weathering pencil. This is rubber, and I'm just gonna go along the line.
You don't wet that first?
You don't have to. You can. But that's what I'm going to do.
I've seen when you wet it, it seems like it covers a little better. Myself, that's just my observation.
You can use these dry or wet. But remember, I'm trying to get a little more subtle here on this one, not heavy. I got to turn it to reflect the light so I can see what I'm doing. And this is an Athearn ready to roll, so. Yeah, these kind of cars seem to corrode along the rivet lines more than anything, at least in the beginning.
What's the build date on that one?
There is no build date on it. I was kind of surprised.
Oh, so you could really rust it up.
I could, but being that it's a Department of Defense car, I was thinking, well, maybe they took care of them a little better.
Wait a minute. You were in the military. Did they take care of it?
Yeah.
Right.
And one thing good about these pencils I like is you can wipe them with your finger if you go too heavy on them.
So if you wipe them with your finger, does it wipe it completely off or it just dubs it down?
No, it just kind of gets the excess off.
Rusty wants to know how many rivets are on that boxcar, Robert.
I'm not counting these.
What?
Sorry. Not counting these rivets. Because I'm sure they'd be wrong. Yeah, see, I went all crazy with that. I went way off.
That there was funny, Rusty. Wouldn't you have scratched your head if he'd come back with an answer? It wouldn't have surprised me.
Now, how come?
I know you will. That's unusual.
What's that?
You got more likes than you got viewers. 16 viewers, 18 likes.
People are leaving.
Oh,
They're going, I ain't watching paint dry. But what I am going to do,
Bet that was, Andy.
what I am going to do on the end of this is use the panel line accent. As soon as I do that, I'll show you the sides again.
It wouldn't straighten up and fly right, huh?
What's that?
Well, hey, on a side note, Andy said he was helped trim out an F-84F Thunderstreak
Really?
Saturday. Yep,
When did he do that?
Saturday. That's
Oh,
what he said.
nice.
He said that was a pig. He said it wouldn't straighten up and fly right.
Now, one other thing I'm going to do to this car, because it has molded on grab irons and ladders, I am going to, at the top of the rung of each ladder, use this because it darkens it, makes it look a little more three-dimensional. I'll show you in just a second. The same with the grab irons here. I'll just on the top of the grab iron, that it just makes it look a little more three-dimensional. Coffee's getting cold.
Yeah, don't accidentally stick that little brush in your coffee. That'd be
Yeah, that wouldn't be good, would it?
no.
Okay, so you can see. I don't know how well you can see those.
Oh, you can actually see it pretty good.
Yeah, it's funny. They're showing up lighter and they're actually darker though.
They look dark to me.
The rivet lines.
Oh, the rivet lines?
Yeah.
No,
Oh, can you see them now? There you go.
I can't see your rivets. You'll have to count them and let us know that there is some there. It ain't showing up on your camera. Your camera don't want to adjust.
Yeah. So you can see how it's dark. Can you see that now?
No.
Really?
Really?
I can see it.
Well, I'm glad you can see it because you're the one that has to be pleased.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it on camera.
Yep.
I can just. Okay, so like I said, I don't want to go over heavy with that. So that's the panel line accent and the weathering pencil for those two cars.
I
Now,
know tonight, Ken Amos.
I am going to take raw umber Model Master, and you could use acrylics if you want. It's just I've got a bunch of enamel paint and I like enamel paint, and that's what I'm using. So there.
I didn't say nothing.
And I ain't gonna get it open.
Well, so there.
So there. Let me see if I got some pliers. Oh, it's always one thing or another. There we go. I do have some channel locks. There we go. I must not have wiped the top real well last time I closed it. So this is already thin because I had thinned it already using it before.
And that's what, raw umber, you said?
Mm-hmm. So you could use it or an acrylic raw umber. I just like raw umber. I think it's a nice grimy color once you spray it on.
I agree with you there.
All right. I'm just going to make sure it's thinned enough. Yeah, I think that's plenty thin for what I'm doing. Now you can do this step and nothing else. For some of your freight cars, if you just want to weather real quickly and get some stuff done. I unplugged my compressor.
Hey, there's Heath. How's it going, Heath?
Hey,
He says hello, CPKC modelers.
that's it. Already going into timeout, isn't he? Uh-huh. I think I'm going to have a problem here.
Uh-oh. Houston, we have a problem.
I might not have cleaned this real well last time I put it away. That ain't good. But if that's the case, then I'll go get my new airbrush.
I agree, Dave. Dave says it's not a terrible paint scheme on the new CPKC logo.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So what I'm going to do now is just lightly on the top of these, come along. Now you don't want to do this too evenly. So I don't know. Can y'all see much on there? It doesn't look like it's showing up a lot,
No, it ain't really.
but it's showing up a lot here. So, and then I'm gonna very lightly go over the sides and the ends. And I kind of want to spray down. What I do is I try to spray this direction to kind of mimic weathering. Being that this is flat paint, this will help the next step. This just gives a nice grime coating.
He's using raw umber, John. Oh, you can see it now.
Yeah.
I can see it in the spots.
And that's what you want to do. You don't want it even. There we go. And that's all I really want to do to it. Except, I mean, as far as airbrushing the raw umber, that's all I want to do to it. Now, let me clean my jar out real quick. And my airbrush.
Grandpa Rails wants to know, what is your mix ratio? Well, guys, he froze up. He froze up. There you go.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Every once in a while, my internet just drops.
Yeah, ain't that wonderful? They don't seem to drop the price at the at billing time.
No, they don't do that. Oops. Wanted.
Yeah, Grandpa Rails asked, what's the mix ratio?
I do it on my paint to thinner when I'm weathering. I do a 50-50 mix.
No, his AC ain't working at all, Dave.
Nope.
He said it must be extra cold that you froze.
Yeah, that's right. No, afraid not. Okay, so
Grandpa Rails says he has the same problem with the internet.
we must have the same company. All right. This color that I'm putting on is called sand beige.
Sand beige.
Yeah, so it's just kind of a tan color. And so any kind of tan color you'll be fine with. Like I said, when I'm weathering, because I don't want to overdo things, I always use a 50-50 mix of paint. It makes a good thin paint to airbrush with. There we go.
Good evening, race fan.
Hey, race fan. All right, so what I use this for is the bottom. Just to kind of give it a nice thin layer of dust along the bottom of the car. And that's it. I'm going to come back with a paintbrush real quick. Just a cheapie. Coat my trucks with this raw umber. Now comes the fun part. I'm going to take some dark rust powder and just a wide flat paintbrush. and just streak downward on it. Now, a lot of this will disappear when I clear coat it. What?
That's not a good question to ask him, Dave.
What's that?
He wants to know when you're going to add the graffiti.
No graffiti. Sorry.
They didn't do graffiti back in 1976.
Yeah, they did, but it was usually just spray can, a white or a black spray can. So what I'm doing is, you can see I'm covering this with a little dark rust. In the direction that it would be weathered, and especially put some on top. And I'm going to go in with a little medium rust and do the same thing on top. And then a little light rust. How about that? Now it looks like an awful mess right now, doesn't it?
Every time I weather, that's the way it looks anyhow. An awful mess. Oh, here he goes.
Got to clean my airbrush out first.
Well, you don't want to spray no leftover raw umber.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. You didn't use raw umber last. You used a lighter color. Yeah, Dan, there's a lot of good powders out there. He uses Monroe. I don't know what the name of that pastel I use is. What weather and powder do you use, Robert?
It's Monroe.
Oh, it is Monroe?
Yeah. So
That's what I use, Ken, is pan pastels.
went a little bit heavier than I wanted to, so I'm just going to wipe them off.
You're going to wipe them off?
Yep.
Kind of defeats the purpose, don't it?
Well, like I said, I went a little heavier than I wanted to. So, but always wipe in the direction of the weathering.
Race fan said he's been using paint. He was using some paint too, there, buddy. You know, you
Yep.
can use a little bit of everything.
Yeah, it's good to use different techniques because in that way you replicate the different types of weathering because you've got weather like rain and wind and sand and stuff like that, but you also have rust, dirt. Um, you've got different ways to.
You dirtied that up pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't mean to dirty it up quite as much as I did.
Figuring it's only a couple months. Must have been that cheap steel that they were using back in.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, it's a little bit more than I wanted to.
That was when the Japanese were dumping that steel over here back in the 70s.
But if you wipe vigorously, you'll notice that it leaves it around the ribs, makes everything stand out a little bit more.
Uh-huh.
So that's one good thing about weathering powders too, is that you can wipe them off if they're too heavy. And also, I'm going to clear coat it, which will actually help it to blend a little bit as well.
It'll definitely dub down what you got there.
Yeah.
I know that from doing that in the past. Race fan wants to know, do you add scratches?
Sometimes there's especially the at the door here, because guys will use forklifts to close the door. It's a little bit harder on these rib-sided cars to do that.
Ken Amos says he used to use oil-based paints and mix it thin. He said that works good, but he said you don't get much of a chance to fix anything.
Yeah.
He said that's the reason he switched to the pan pastels.
Well, I used both. In fact, this time I did use both. I used oil-based paints and let me just do a little bit of. I'm going to take some dark rust and I'm going to take some wheels here. And put a little bit of rust powder on these wheels. Now you don't find as much rust on wheels that have journal boxes because a lot of the grease leaks out of the journal box onto the wheel. So be aware of that when you're weathering. And after this is over, I'll get my wheel masking set that I got from Micromark, and I'll clear coat these wheels as well to kind of hold the pastel weathering powder in. Almost done with this.
That's right, Ken.
What's that?
Ken Amos said he likes to go to the train shows and swap meets, buy up cheap Tycos and Lifelike cars to practice on.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I got this a little heavier than I wanted to initially, but that's okay.
Sorry for the sound effects here. But the pollen's getting the best of me.
Might not be able to use these wheels I wanted to, but I'm going to try them. These are Katie wheels I'm putting in here. They are metal, but they might be too long for the Atlas trucks. I think they are. Oh well. Have to go to Plan B. Plan B is.
Yeah, Dave says you're going when you seal them with a dull coat, you're going to lose some of that powder, weathering anyhow.
Yep. You do. Make sure I got the right ones. I don't think I did. Oh well.
Maybe you didn't get the right one.
Bear with me. Just bear with me.
Modern Model Works.
Hey, how's it going?
He said he wants to learn how to do weathering well.
Well, I hope I'm doing it well. You can't forget the wheels, that's for sure. That one.
That's a hobby shop we're going to have to try to hit there, Robert.
What's that?
Gerard's Derailment Hobby Shop in Lebanon has lots of those Tyco and lifelike cars that you can practice on. He said, plus he picked up a dozen blue box cars on his way up to Jim Thorpe on Friday. He stopped in there on his way.
Now, where is Lebanon?
That's out east there. You know, that might be a somewhere to head to after Timonium again. You know what I mean? Since you like hitting the shop so good.
Who, me?
I
Me?
ain't talking about Donald Duck.
Me? Who says I like to go to hobby shops?
Anybody that ever has been around you long enough knows that. I hear you, Dave. Dave BNSF says practice makes you better. They said it took
Yep.
them years to even try it.
And
I know
try it.
it's hard when you spend all that money for a piece of a rolling stock or something, and then to take and paint it. You know,
You can't really mess up weathering.
well, yeah, depends on what you're trying to do.
You think you can?
Oh, I can show you a few that look pretty rough. I didn't really intend for them to look that rough. Good evening, LNA RY Productions.
Oh, that's Paul. How you doing, Paul? Late, but made it in time. Yeah, everybody go over and watch Paul's channel. He's doing his spline road bed, and then he's going to be hand laying all of his track.
Yeah. God bless you, my friend. God bless you. And you're putting in a lot of track too. I remember seeing that when Robert was there.
Yeah, a lot of track.
Yeah. God bless you.
There. All right. Now let me make sure I got the right. Well, I can't get the. All right, time for the visor. Old eyes.
Oh, he's breaking out the visor. Look out. Steve 87th.
Hey, Steve.
You're just in time. You can watch some of the weathering dry.
All right, I'm almost done here. All right, that got a lot more dirtier than I wanted it to, but that's okay. It'll just have to be dirty.
Yeah, I can show you the rail box I did. It got dirtier too than I wanted.
So I don't know how well you can see that.
I can see it pretty good. I like it. I know it'll dumb down once you hit it with the clear.
Yeah. So we'll just say this one got dirty, and then those weathering powders on the top, I think, do a great job because they just
Right.
a little subtle. On the, let me see now if I can get these. I think these wheels.
It was parked. Floyd says it was parked next to a carbon plant.
Yeah, there you go.
Dave says it looks great. Steve 87 says, is there a horse in there, or maybe an air compressor?
It's a horse. Yes.
Of course.
Of course, yes.
Steve said that doesn't look like a CP car.
And it never will.
Did you use any panel liner?
Yes, I did. Well, you saw me do that.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I used. That was the first step. See, if you had gotten here at the right time, you would have seen it.
I agree, Joe. It looks good to me. But it looks like it's newer dirt than 1976. Hey, Thomas Moore.
Hey, Tom.
He rode the Tennessee Valley Railroad last Saturday. Cool.
Cool.
Did you get a railroad spike while you was there?
All right.
That's right. That's right, Dave. Rivet counter dirt. That's good. Thomas said he did get a few railroad spikes.
Good deal.
Carolina Foothills. How's it going, buddy?
All right. So there is the Air Force boxcar. A little more weathered than I wanted it, but I don't think it came out bad, actually. So
I did notice that the underneath is nice and clean. How did that happen?
well, nobody's going to see it.
Oh, I just saw it.
You just saw it, huh? You just saw the underneath.
Yep. That was nice and shiny and clean looking, and the top is all dirty. That's news to me.
Fine. How's that?
Yeah, there you go. John Schoolkill said he thinks it looks good. Air Force dirty. Oh, I still got a ways to go yet there, buddy. Thanks for asking. My watch hours are coming along, though. But I still got a long way to go.
Yeah, I wanted it. I didn't, like I said, I didn't want it to be quite as dirty as it is. tone this, so I can tone this rust down too with a little bit of.
What Steve 87 says, well, when it falls over during a derail, it will look clean. No derailments allowed, Steve.
That'll tone that rust down a little bit. And like I say, once I put the clear coat on it, that pastel's going to go. A lot of that's going to go away. Thing is, it looks dirtier in person than it does on the camera, so that's good too. All right, so let me throw these on the track here. And then you can see what they look like. Pull all the junk out of the way.
I understand that.
Yeah, that's the hard part, getting the junk out of the way. So there they are.
That'll go all right. That'll look good.
Yeah. I don't think it came out too badly.
No.
Yeah, so that's yeah, like I said, I didn't want to go quite as heavy as I did, but I did. So, oh well. So the thing is about weathering is don't be afraid to try it because you can't really mess up. Thanks, Bob. You can't. There's not a lot you can do wrong when you're weathering. The things to remember is use multiple colors, multiple complementary colors, and use at least 3 colors when you do weather, and that'll help a lot. And make sure when you weather that you weather in the direction that weather happens. So always go down.
Yeah.
When you're weathering.
Everybody seems to like it. I think it looks good.
Yeah, I think that they came out okay. I mean, I don't have any problem with the weathering job. Like I said, I wasn't going for doing it that heavy, but I did.
You'll be okay until somebody comes over and looks at the build date.
That's right. So. And they go, wait, that's only 6 months old. How'd they get that dirty?
Right. There you go. Then you have some explaining to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ken says if you mess up, just repaint and decal and reweather and keep practicing.
You can do that too. That's another reason you can never mess up weathering is because you can always start over.
Joe says unless you're already he weathers from the bottom up. Poor Artie. He ain't even here to defend himself.
I know. But that's what happens when you're down under, right?
Joe.
Uh, weather from the bottom up.
Yep.
Let's see if I can lay this on here so I don't have to hold it.
Yeah. That's true, Steve. He said it's the South. It wouldn't take long to get dirty.
Nope. That's true. And a lot of that red around here is the dirt, that red clay.
Oh, that stuff's terrible. That stuff's terrible.
Yeah, that red clay will get you. There. Here we go.
It took you half an hour to get that shot up.
I know. Like I said, the only thing I've got left to do now is I'm going to clear coat them, but I'm going to do that outside because I'm going to use a rattle can. So,
I don't blame you for doing it outside.
yeah.
Doing inside, we might find you laying there on the floor.
Yeah, that's right.
I know you would me.
Yeah, I guess the Air Force isn't cleaning their cars as much as they were going to. So
Yeah. I think you could shut your air compressor off.
you think so?
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, Steve thinks that's a horse, my compressor.
Oh.
Yeah, don't forget the ends. That's the big thing. Can you believe we've gone an hour and a half?
Yep. I can believe it.
And like I said, if you are, like Ken was saying, if you're afraid, just get get old Tyco cars.
Yep.
You can get them pretty cheap usually. So
Yep.
practice on them.
Sad part is I like the Tyco cars too. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why does everybody's weather look better than mine? That's probably not true.
Right.
Yeah. Tyco cars are good to practice on though if you want to, but yeah, poor Air Force didn't keep their car clean.
Yeah.
And then of course here's the top if you want to see a better view of the top. So
That is a dirty top.
yeah. Well, that's what's going to get dirtiest first anyway. Top's going to get dirtiest first. So. That's true, Dave. That's true. What John says is very true.
Yep.
You're always more critical of your own work because you see all the things that you think are mistakes and they're not.
I agree.
Why would the top get dirty first? Because that's where all the rain and the grime comes from, yeah. And then it flows from the top down. So that's why I think.
Unless you're rolling down the track and then it's blowing up from the wheels.
Yeah. But it always kicks it up in the air anyway. So. Well, it does kind of fall. Dirt does kind of, because the dirt gets kicked up and then when it rains, it pushes it down. That's what I think.
Interesting theory.
dirt's going to pool on the top first and then start flowing. I mean, if you look at anything like the top of anything, it's look at locomotives. You look at a picture of a top of a locomotive. It's 10 times dirtier than the sides.
Well, that's all the soot coming out of the exhaust.
Well, that's true too, and that lands on top of cars as well. So,
Well, I didn't see any soot there. That looked like that there red clay.
yeah, I know, but if that I think all that stuff gets kicked up in the air and then lands on top of the roofs of the cars. That's what I think. I could be wrong, but that's these are my. And another thing, I've said this before: when you weather a group of cars, and then come back and weather another group, a week later, because they're always going to turn out a little bit different. And so and that's good because you don't want the weathering to look the same on everything.
Robert, don't run Alcos.
No.
I like Alcos.
Yeah, but I don't have any.
I know
all
why.
EMD stuff on my layout.
I know why.
What's the next project? I have got to finish this refinery. That's my next project. I'm working on it a little bit at a time. I've got my this. I've got this all wired up. If you can let me turn my thing around here, my camera. And my camera all straight.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got this all wired up. You see how many lights I've got in it?
Christmas tree.
So that's got all the lights coming out of this. I don't know how many lights I've got. Let's see. Just in this thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 19 lights just on this.
He won't have to run any more of the shop lights overhead after he gets this thing all lit up because they'll turn it on and they'll give him an instant suntan.
That's right. And then I have
That's a Wathers kit. That's a Wathers kit.
And then this is a Balmer kit, actually.
Yeah.
But I have all the lights. I have it lit as well. So I'm doing the lights right now. So that's the big thing.
Space Shuttle rocket booster. It kind of does look like that, don't it?
Yeah, but that's the Walthers kit and the Balmer kit along. I bought those together at a train show. So was that in the Walthers instructions? No.
There ain't nothing in the Wathers instructions. Don't even want to get me started.
Oh, man. If you want to, before we finish up here, just real quick, if you do want to weather real lightly, what I do, and this is some quick weathering that you can either use that you will have forever, or you can weather this way for the time being until you get to your car. Let me turn my compressor back on. Oh, the cat got the chair. But what I do, sometimes I'll just go along the top of my track, along for, I'll line up 8 or 10 cars, and just come along with the raw umber, and then just spray the side of the car and the top. And that makes it look a little dirty. And there you go. That's all you got to do.
Been nice. We could see what you was doing.
Oh, sorry. All I did was come along at an angle, spray the top, and then the same on this side, and then the ends, and then that's. It doesn't look like much on camera, but what this does is it gets the car dirty looking, and that's better than just the bright yellow.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much you can see there, but you can see it's a little dirty.
Well, you can see that. Yep.
Yeah. And now the car looks a little dirty without it being, without me taking hours to weather it. It's done. If you want to, I can spray the bottom there, just so I please Wilmer.
I'm tickled pink.
So that's all you have to do. I mean, I'm done. I could do 10 cars in 5 minutes this way. Yeah, and if I wanted to, I could come back at the bottom with the sand color and just kind of do it dusty on the bottom. But basically, the car's dirty. It looks weathered. I don't have to do anything else to it.
You get started into it too, Bob. It's going to probably be a lot more than just the footprint that it don't give you. Bob said, "Don't forget to do the ends."
Yeah, I did them.
Yeah, you were off camera when you did it.
Yeah, it was off camera when I did. But that's another way just to do some real quick weathering that you don't have to, it cuts down on the shine of the cars. It cuts down on that plastic look. But it gives it a nice, dirty look too. And that is a good way to lightly weather stuff if you want to. And do it real quickly. Because like I said, I've lined up 10 cars and done them this way. And it doesn't matter. It could be tank cars or gondolas or box cars. It doesn't matter what type of car.
Yep. Some good instruction tonight. I enjoyed it.
Thanks.
I like that stuff you had right at the beginning. That dark brown.
Oh, the panel liner. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, if you want to use the panel liner, it's just to me a dark brown is what I used. And now I don't remember which wheels were which.
Dan says he likes your T-shirt.
Oh. Yeah, my wife got this for me at Christmas.
I don't know. Does anybody have problems finding dull coat?
No. I don't.
I haven't bought any for a while, but
Maybe testers, but I buy testers, but I don't always use it because sometimes I just use the other stuff in the bigger spray cans because it lasts longer and it costs less. You just got to be careful what you're using. Lacquer matte finish will sometimes melt the decals.
He said it must be a Wichita thing. Bob Ainsworth says use Krylon Clean Coat. Works just as good.
Yeah, I'll show you what I use. Where did I put it? Oh, here it is. Yeah.
Rust-Oleum clear.
Yeah. You just got to be careful because some clear coats will do this to decals.
What did it do? Oh, it
Yeah.
took the CP off the KCS.
You're so funny. See how that is all wonky?
No, oh, okay, yeah, it does look a little
Yeah.
cattywampus.
Yeah, that's what it did. Look, and then this side.
Oh, it's cattywampus the other way.
Yep. Yep, that's some lacquer clear coats will do that, so you have to be real careful. You have to be real careful. Yeah, if you can find an enamel clear coat, that's a lot safer. So, but that's what a lacquer clear coat does. Some lacquers depends on how strong they are. All righty. Well, I guess it's that time, isn't it?
Yep.
Thanks, Dan. Yeah, that's true, Dan. Sometimes you look at it at first and you go, "Hey, that looks like a lot of weathering," but
I
then
dare
when you
you.
come back later on, it's not as much as you thought it was. Yeah, you're right, Bob. A micro brush for the wheels are better. All right.
Well, it was a good show, Robert. I enjoyed it.
Good deal. I did too.
All
Well, I
right.
hope everybody liked it.
Everybody seems to. But
See you, Andy.
see, Andy. Good night, sir. Sleep well. God bless.
I guess we will see everyone next time. Next week is Dave Thurber, the Crooked River and Eastern.
Yep.
Wichita Paul. We'll see you later, man.
All right.
All right, you guys take it easy, and thank you very much for joining me and sticking with me for almost 2 hours.
That was all right. You held our interest. It was worth it.
All right, we'll see you later.
one.
Have a good evening.
Mm.